Hey, what is up, my fellow plastic addicts? It is Sith Trooper Nix here with a brand new review. I know it's been a while, and I know I used to go by a different name. I decided to do a little bit of rebranding. I do still plan to collect WWE and AEW figures. Those are the first reviews I put on this channel. But I also decided I wanted to collect the Star Wars The Black Series figures, Marvel Legends, and the McFarlane My Hero Academia line. So today I'm very happy to bring you a review of my very, very first Black Series figure. And what a better figure to start off with, in my opinion, than the Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi Darth Vader figure. So let me put Vader aside and we will take a look-see at his box here. First, we have the Star Wars The Black Series logo up there. We have Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's the TV series. That's the line this Vader comes from, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Darth Vader down here. Do not put in your mouth. 4+. The Hasbro logo there. On the side here, we have this beautiful art of Darth Vader with holding his fist, kind of like a curses or whatever. Very nice there on the side. Down here it says Darth Vader, this nice blue here. On this side, not a whole lot besides Star Wars The Black Series. On the bottom, a bunch of legal garb. On the back, got a little read up here that you can take a look at. Pause when you are ready. Star Wars The Black Series there. We got this nice art of Vader on the back again. He is number 2 in the Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi line. Don't put in your mouth in the several different languages. And some other legal guff. Disney. And of course, just like the swoosh, I open my figures from the bottom. Thank you very much for that, sir. Also, I do like how there is a open plastic here, so you can beam a light down in here and it'll illuminate on the figure, which will look really nice. So let's bring Darth Vader over. Now, I don't really want to say this is a controversial release, which I guess it kind of sort of is. It depends on how you look at it. But this figure has a lot of the veteran Star Wars The Black Series figure collectors upset, and, you know, that's perfectly understandable. However, I don't have many problems with this Darth Vader, mostly because this is my first Black Series figure. Personally, I believe the reason they released this was just so they can get Darth Vader in more collectors' hands, because there's a lot of people who are getting into collecting the Star Wars Black Series figures. I think almost every year there's tons and tons of new people, including myself. So I'm very happy to have Darth Vader. This is, I believe, a re-release of the 2017 Red Box A New Hope Darth Vader. That's why a lot of people aren't too thrilled about it. I do believe, though, that, well, I don't believe, I know it is. This is the Empire Strikes Back Vader cape, which I think is awesome. A lot of people don't like that they gave him so much cape, but I think it's cool because it gives him a lot of dynamicness to him. Maybe if you can get like a stand, you can get his cape blowing in the wind. All this cape doesn't bother me at all. Lightsaber looks very nice in his hands. The helmet also looks quite nice. It does have the more bug-eyed type eyes, but that is okay by me. Very, very nice figure, in my opinion. I really do like it. You can pull the blade out, and he's just holding his saber. Let's pull his saber out of his hand here, set him aside, and we will get a better look at his saber once I can figure out how to put it back in the damn hilt. There we go. As you can see, the red blade and this very nice hilt. Whoops. Looks very much like Vader's hilt, I think. There we go. I do not have the New Hope figure, of course, to compare, because I'm not a veteran collector. So this is my first Star Wars The Black Series figure, and it is my first... Actually, I don't think this is my first Darth Vader figure. I'm pretty sure I had some of the cheaper Star Wars Darth Vader figures that came out when I was a kid that only had like 5 points of articulation or whatever. Not the Kenner, that's further back, but I'm talking the cheaper like dollar store type ones. Articulation. This is the first time I'm going over articulation, so let's go. So the head turns side to side. Literally not any up, not any down. A little bit of wibble wobble. A little bit of wibble wobble. In my opinion, you don't really need Darth Vader looking up unless you want him to find out Padme dies and you just, no, you know. But other than that, it's fine. I don't mind that his head doesn't have a whole lot of posability because you don't really need Darth Vader doing a lot of crazy shit. This up here looks good, where the pauldron, I believe this is called, looks nice. Different compared to A New Hope, these pieces of fabric don't go over the top, they're actually underneath, which I prefer. Arm goes up that far. Well, I mean, it 360s, obviously, but as you can see, the elbow hinges about, is that 90? Yeah, that's 90, maybe a little bit less than 90, but I think that's 90. Arm moves out, which is nice. There is a swivel here in the elbow, which is nice. Swivel in the hand area. I believe there is a hinge in the wrist. I could be wrong. Let me pull it off camera here. No, there is indeed a hinge. I'm just currently having trouble trying to work it. Oh, no, there isn't. Let's not break Darth Vader, please. Okay, yeah. There is a hinge. Okay, there is a hinge. You just can't really see it right in there. So, it is a hinge. There you go. That hand does it better. For some reason, I'm struggling with this hand. Waist moves side to side, which is what you need for Vader. Torso doesn't really move a whole lot either. Leg goes out about that far. Goes back. Not so much. Double jointed knees, which I am 110% okay with. You get hinge in the boot. You get some beautiful ankle pivot. No twist here in the boot. So, there isn't a whole lot to say about this Darth Vader. That really can't be said about the New Hope Star Wars Vader. And it appears that the Empire Strikes Back Vader is a more favorable Vader, and I would tend to agree, mostly because of the butterfly joints that this figure doesn't have itself. But there are, you know, some issues. Like, for example, the legs are loose. That is a common reoccurring problem that happens amongst these Kenobi Vaders. So there's many options here about this Darth Vader that you can look at. So if you have the New Hope Vader, and that is plenty good for you, then I would suggest sticking with the New Hope Vader and saving about $30. If you have the New Hope, but you don't want the fabric over his pauldron, then I guess you could pick this up because it's basically the same thing, but it does come with the Empire Strikes Back cape. And of course, if you have the Empire Strikes Back Vader, you will find that that Vader is much better than this Darth Vader. Everyone, from what I'm hearing, this Vader is like the second best Vader on the market, right next to the Empire Strikes Back Vader. I haven't seen the Return of the Jedi Vader. I don't know if it's been released or not. I am not very, I'm not very knowledgeable on the news when it comes to Star Wars figures at the current moment in time, but I do plan to keep track of everything. I do suggest you check out Nerdzoic if you are looking to get into Star Wars Black Series figures. Nerdzoic is a great place to start. Grand Moff Tony, also another very, very fantastic place to find Star Wars Black Series content. Nerdzoic does Star Wars and Marvel Legends and a few other things. Grand Moff Tony, I do believe, just strictly does Star Wars Black Series or Star Wars related content. So there you have it, folks. Not a whole lot to say here when it comes to this Vader, but for what it is, I am very thrilled first of all to have this figure in my collection. First of all, this I got at my local Walmart. They had this and a fucking second one sitting there, surprisingly enough. They had two of them there. Apparently the second best Vader on the market, and there was two sitting there, probably because not a whole lot of people want them because they're basically just re-releases. And hey, you know, that's fine by me because I'm able to have a Darth Vader in my collection, which I am more than happy to have. And this is actually the Vader that I had on my wish list. I didn't know if I put this or the Empire Strikes Back Vader on my wish list, but this was the Vader that I, excuse me, sometimes I struggle saying Vader, I don't know why. But Vader, I'm very happy to have this Darth Vader in my collection. I'm very glad it is my first Star Wars Black Series figure. I would like to get my hands on the Empire Strikes Back Vader, and then maybe the only other Vader I would want to get my hands on is the blue line puppy dog eyes Vader. Even though that is meant to be, a lot of people like despise that Vader, I would only get that Vader to display with the removable mask. So there you have it, folks. I give this figure a solid 9 out of 10. Let's give it an 8.5 out of 10. I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Number one, it could have the butterfly joints. That's for starters. It could have the butterfly joints. That would have been really nice. It could have could have more sturdier legs. Could have, you know, I think other than the fact that it doesn't have the butterfly joints and the legs are loose, I don't think, and the fact that it should have came with interchangeable hands. But other than that, I think this is a perfect Darth Vader. Like I said, I do wish he came with interchangeable hands, so we could kind of get a pose like this with where he's, you know, holding his fist up, or maybe, you know, a better force choking hand, because this is a decent excuse me. Take a shot. Sorry, Matt Cardona. I stole your joke there. This isn't a terrible hand for force choke, but I would prefer a more, you know, like he's actually trying to choke him, not hold a blaster, which is what it looks like he's supposed to be doing. Look at me being ill-prepared here. If I could find... Here he is. Steal this from the Punisher real fast. Sadly, I do not have any stormtroopers, or this probably would have worked a lot nicer. Because I would have a blaster, but I do not currently have any of these Star Wars blasters. So we are going to pimp Vader out, GTA 5 style, I guess. And yeah, look at that. He can hold a pistol. Darth Vader's got a pistol. Watch out, everybody. Forget the lightsaber. My man's got a pistol. He's got a Glock and he ain't afraid to use it. Yeah. This is kind of what this hand reminds me of, more or less. I don't know if it's a hand that's open more to help hold the lightsaber with both hands, or this literally is meant to be a force choke hand. And it's just a terrible force choke hand if that's the case. Because it just doesn't look like he's trying to force choke somebody. It looks like he's holding a pistol or a blaster or whatever. Well, anyway, all jokes aside, we're gonna finally wrap up this video. I know it sounds like I've been trying to wrap this up like 600 times now, but I've thought of a few other things to say. But finally, we're gonna wrap this up now that we're 15 minutes in. Sorry about that. Sometimes I catch myself. Sometimes I end up rambling, and I gotta catch myself and pull myself back in to finishing off the video. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. 8.5 out of 10. If you don't have a Darth Vader, I recommend picking it up. If you would want to, I guess, update your New Hope Vader and give him the fabric underneath the pauldrons, also not a bad figure to get. If you are just a massive Darth Vader fan and you will pick up anything Darth Vader, then you will probably love this figure, even though it is not the same as the... it's actually downgraded compared to the Empire Strikes Back Vader. So if you have the Empire Strikes Back Vader and you're perfectly okay with just having that, then by all means you really don't need this Kenobi figure. But I believe the reason they released this is so it can be put in people's hands like me, who just started collecting the Star Wars Black Series figures, and you kind of need the villain that really started it all, I guess you could say, especially with the original 3 movies, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. But you also get Anakin from episodes 1, 2, and 3. So, I mean, like I said, Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader is very prevalent throughout the entire Star Wars legacy, except recently. More recently, because, he died in Return of the Jedi. But anyway, there you have it.